I did not. Apparently in the comments on Amazon, I failed, or I was refusing a psych eval. Actually, no. I was having trouble finding a place that my insurance would cover, and I didn't have cash to pay because this situation financially raped me. It messed up to my health where I couldn't work. Now, keep in mind, okay, that's a race deal. Go ahead, scroll down a little bit. Okay, that's a sheriff's return. It's a received, which means that this word spread from Ellis County to Saline County. Keep in mind, that's proof of libel. Go ahead. Keep scrolling down, buddy. Motion for mental examination. Okay. I was trying to get it, but I couldn't afford it out of pocket. Now, this all proves that they were using my diagnosis as a reason not to even investigate the allegations. If you read through this, it also talks about how I was supposedly harassing them. No, I was begging them to give me the benefit of the doubt, like they give to Lena, and like they gave my mom, and they gave Eric, to give them custody. And I just wanted them to check my side of the story since they never even asked me in the first place. Do you know how old that gets? Just being treated like a criminal. Basically treated like you are just some horrible person. Like you don't deserve your kids. Because somebody felt like making up a bunch of lies. You know, last I checked, healthy people don't make other people's lives hell just because they want paid. But that's why they don't care. They did get paid. And they didn't care who they were hurting. But you know what? Go ahead. Keep scrolling down, bud. See, they're confirming that, yes, I was recording the conversations. But I was being severely misquoted. They were leaving out the parts where they screwed up. And just making me sound very, very unstable. And you know what? When I said I no longer had bipolar, you know, diagnosis can change. Todd Kors testified that on the stand. He is my current therapist. And the thing is, it's kind of like when you go into the hospital for pneumonia, you're not always going to have it. The brain's just another body part. You know what? Leaving Hayes healed me. I got rid of bipolar, if I ever even was bipolar. My mom fought to have me diagnosed with that. Go ahead, bud. See, wait, hold on. Actually, not yet. They're saying they just disagree with me. But yet they're not even hearing me out. Do you know how frustrating that gets, being told nobody agrees with you, but yet they won't even check your side of the story? But yet they automatically believe the other one? Go ahead. Chief Scheibler with the Hayes Police Department. You know, crappy employees are a sign of crappy leadership. None of this was done professionally. And you see, they're scared, and so they're trying to make me sound like I'm nuts for what I know. Government doesn't want you to know that. If you look up HARP, I really hope I was wrong, but see, the timing would have been too convenient. HARP belongs to the Geosciences Department at Fort Hayes. And it's just a little too convenient that just a few days later, after all of this, I could not reach the ADA in order to complain about this. Go ahead. I hope I'm wrong, but you know what? That just makes me more suspicious. Okay, look at this endorsement. Their accessories. Go ahead. Keep in mind, this is their paperwork. Their signatures, too. Well, Charlene's anyway. Which makes her the facilitator. Go ahead. This is the Hayes PD. Brandon Wright. Sarah Degenhart. Okay, keep going. See, I'm telling them. They're acknowledging what I told them, or at least part of what I told them. A lot of this is misquoted. But yet they refuse to even investigate anything. There's bad numbers on here too. Go ahead. All these names, by the way, are are accessories because they're obstructing justice, because they know what's up. They refuse to acknowledge it with the correct authorities. I am been insanely misquoted. And they also left out the part where they screwed up. And the other thing, too, is I wasn't making a scene. I was having a panic attack. That's a medical symptom. PTSD is a medical condition because the brain is a body part. Keep scrolling down. The shopping bags, I was trying to bring those to court because I had evidence in them to show that Justin would have everything he needed. But you know what? They could have asked me why I had that rather than just make me sound like the crazy bag lady. I noticed on one of these pages, but it's harder to read from where I'm at. They say that I claimed my dad abused me. Are you insane? No, I said my mom did. So like I said, they've been highly misquoting me on this paperwork. Feel free to read through yourself. Go ahead. Oh yeah, they waited till after I'd already gotten to Hayes to call me and say that court was canceled. I missed work from that. That's lost wages. Go ahead. That doesn't look very good on dependability for employment. See, I was not allowed to stay at my mother's house. Well, you know why? Because my mom was pretty offended by the fact that I was revealing the truth. I began to cry. Yeah, I was pretty upset. They wouldn't even hear me out or even check my side of the story. They just simply kept telling me they didn't agree. Maybe could they have at least investigated? And if I wasn't telling the truth, then why wasn't I arrested for a false police report? As many times as they're saying, I flat out reported it. And it's not that I couldn't breathe, it's that it hurt to because I was having a panic attack. That is physical abuse. That's causing a medical symptom. Go ahead. And if you read through these too, it talks about how I'm repeatedly calling them. You know why? I'm begging them to do their job, to simply at least check my side of the story. Check it. You know why? Because I had nothing to hide. They simply gave the others the benefit of the doubt. Look how many times I tried. And you know what? I shouldn't have had to disclose my medical information because it's none of their business. It's against my constitutional right to be left alone. Go ahead. You know why I was talking fast? I had a lot on my mind. I was very furious. Keep going, buddy. Keep in mind all the names here, because of the fact they're hiding the truth and they know it, that makes them all accessories. And you know what? I should know that the psychological welfare was in danger because I know what it's like to be the kid in that situation. My mom did the same thing to me. And I was institutionalized over it. So yeah, I should know. Go ahead. Okay, hold on. Let's get this name. Okay, badge number or name. Keep going, buddy. Just keep in mind all this time. Oh, Sheriff Harbin. That's another one. Keep in mind, none of these allegations were ever proven. You know why? Because none of them were true. And they were highly misquoting me. Okay, this is talking about the police report I'd made that was mentioned in the conversation with Officer Reese that just magically disappeared that he could not find. This is the one I'm referring to. They acknowledged that this report was made in this paperwork. This is the paperwork I was talking about. Go ahead. See? And then in that paperwork too, it talks about how they followed up and they said that indeed it did look like I was telling the truth. Well, you know why? Because I was. So why was nothing done about it? Why did that case just magically disappear? Go ahead and go back to that page. Okay, hold on. There's the name of the cop that took the report. I was right, it was Lieutenant Wright. Go ahead. Oh, and then also on this, it talks about how I'd accused them of impersonating each other. No, they would only give me their badge numbers, but they would not tell me their names. And they knew I was recording, and they acknowledged several times in here about a recorder, which they are well aware of. But if they were giving the wrong badge numbers and their voice on the recorder did not add up to the correct badge number, that would be impersonation, because it is a crime to impersonate an officer. And on top of that, if they were giving the wrong badge number, isn't that the same thing? It's also obstruction of justice, because they knew. If you read through this paperwork, they knew what it was for. I tried to offer Cosgrove advice, but it fell on deaf ears. No, I shouldn't have had to beg him to at least ask my side of the story, to at least hear me out and investigate. If I wasn't telling the truth, why didn't they arrest me? It's a false police report. And like the cop said last night, it's when they put a lot of time into it. Well, this sure looks like they put a lot of time into it. So if these allegations were wrong, why was I not arrested? Go ahead. There you go. There's another badge number, another cop's name. Okay, go ahead, bud. Okay, here's the part I was referring to. It talks about, he was talking about, I said that anyway, so long story short, apparently this cop can't read, like I said in one of my books, and people were very rude about it. Where in the heck do you get the words Department of Labor out of the initials ADA? It is the toughest job you'll ever love. Look up the definition of job. It means responsibility. His job is his responsibility. Clearly, none of these people meet the job requirements of a cop, because they're not enforcing the law. They're not even investigating when they're being begged to. You know what that is? That's abuse of discretion. Jason Bonsinski, I was right. It's exactly who it was. Go ahead. Oh, and keep in mind, by the way, if they put the wrong case numbers on these, that still makes them guilty of impersonating a cop or obstruction of justice, depending on whether they gave somebody else's or whether they just made one up. Still a HIPAA violation, because bipolar disorder, that's none of their business. I have a right to privacy. That's what HIPAA is for. And this is the day that Chief Scheibler had the balls to tell me that I'm not a bear and my son is not my cub. Being a mama bear, that's a figure of speech. Go ahead. Apparently these people have never heard of metaphors. Go ahead. Oh, so this is their supposed proof that I'm so unstable. Just go ahead and scroll through really fast. This was my temporary number because my phone had broke. And so I had to get a temporary one, but because I was changing companies, I changed numbers. Notice how emotionally distressed you can tell I was. I was using metaphors because that's a defense mechanism of the brain. Just scroll through really fast so they can see that, yes, I'm confirming that's from my number, but I was begging them. I was trying desperately to at least get them to investigate. I had nothing to hide. But you know what they do? Because they're using this as exhibits of how unstable I am. But where's the exhibits that prove they checked my story? They're simply telling me they don't agree with me. But you know why? Because of abuse discretion. They're biased against me because I filed complaints. How else would I know that Gary Steed is their disciplinary administrator and Chief Scheibler tends to be pretty buddy-buddy? At least that's what he told me. Which makes me wonder, is there crappy leadership from their discipline team? I hope not. I'm not trying to accuse somebody I don't even know, but it does make you wonder. So anyway, long story short, yeah. Is that the end? Oh, and keep in mind, he lied and said that he called me by accident. Then why was there more than one conversation on his end from that number? And a couple of times he called me. He, of course, conveniently forgot to leave the part where I couldn't get to the phone, so I sent that text message that said, I'll call you back. Because it's like a reply. See, that's the end. Is there any more pages that you can get to? Let's watch you try. No, they did not have any actual evidence to prove my side was checked. No. You know why? Because none of it happened. They made it all up. And that's why they could not prove any of those allegations to be true and correct, but yet they still signed them. They still put their names on the line with their badge numbers and everything. to make themselves accessories to the federal crime I was desperately trying to report, but they just didn't agree with me because they don't like me. I'm sorry, but that's not cool. In fact, that makes them accessories, and that's why they're hiding. They don't want to go down, and I'm going to make sure they do. You don't mess with my family.